My name is Fiona. I am 34 years old. I am a teacher at a primary school in England. I am married. My husband's name is Miles. He is 35 years old. We have been married for 9 years. Miles is a quiet man who works as an engineer. People say he is the kind of man who listens more than he speaks. They're right. Miles listens. He forgives, and he trusts me completely. But I have been keeping something from him for almost 10 years. I didn't mean to lie. I didn't plan for my life to turn out this way. But sometimes one mistake becomes many, and then it becomes your whole truth. Before I met Miles, I was in love with someone else. His name was Andrew. We met during my last year at university. Andrew had wild ideas. He wasn't like the quiet, careful people I grew up with. Andrew was exciting. He wanted to open his own business, travel the world, and live without rules. I loved him for that. He made me feel free. We were together for 2 years. We dreamed about moving to New York and starting a new life together, but my family didn't like him. His parents didn't like me either. They said we were too different beliefs, different goals. I tried to fight for our relationship, but Andrew changed. He became distant. Then one day he was gone. Andrew left without a word. I tried calling, but his number didn't work. I sent messages and emails. Nothing came back. My heart stopped beating. Then, a few weeks after Andrew disappeared, I found out I was pregnant. I sat on the bathroom floor with the test in my hand, shaking. My parents would never accept a child from a man they didn't like. I didn't know where Andrew was. I didn't even know if he would want the baby, so I stayed quiet. I cried for a few days and then tried to move on. That's when Miles came into my life. He was kind and calm, the opposite of Andrew. We met through a family friend at a party. I didn't tell him I was pregnant. I didn't tell anyone. I was scared, but Miles liked me. He started visiting often. He brought me gifts, asked about my day. I didn't love Miles, not then, but he felt safe. When Miles asked me to marry him, I said yes. I told myself I could learn to love him. We got married quickly. I told Miles that the baby was his. He believed me. He was so happy. 8 months later, Jack was born. Miles held him like he had waited for that moment all his life. Miles said, "He's perfect. He's ours." I wanted to tell the truth, but I couldn't. I watched him change nappies, make bottles, and stay awake all night just to rock Jack back to sleep. Every day, Miles gave his heart to that boy. Every day, I kept my secret. As Jack grew, I saw pieces of Andrew in him. His dark hair, his sharp chin, his smile. Miles didn't notice. He thought Jack looked like me, and maybe he did a little, but I knew the truth. Every time Miles kissed Jack or called him my little man, it hurt. Years passed. We became a normal family. We went to the park on Sundays. We celebrated birthdays with cake and balloons. Miles never doubted anything. He was a good husband even when I didn't deserve him, and I was a good mother. I think I tried my best, but the guilt never left me. One day everything changed. It was a Saturday. Jack had a school football match. Miles and I were both there. We cheered, shouted, and clapped as he ran across the field. Then Jack collapsed. He fell to the ground and didn't move. I screamed. Miles rushed toward our son and held him. An ambulance came and took him to the hospital. The doctors said Jack needed blood quickly. They checked Miles's blood type first. He agreed right away. But later, the doctor returned with a strange look. He said, "Are you sure you're the father?" Miles stared at him. I froze. The doctor said that the blood types didn't match. He said it was impossible. Miles didn't say a word. He just stared at the floor. That night, I told Miles everything. I told him about Andrew, about how I found out I was pregnant, and about why I lied. I cried the whole time. Miles didn't stop me. When I was done, he stood up and walked into Jack's hospital room. Miles said nothing. He was shocked, hurt, and confused. He didn't know how to process the information that Jack wasn't his biological son. Miles had been a devoted father to Jack for years, and the thought of not being his biological father didn't change his feelings toward him. Miles looked at me with anger. He said, "Why didn't you tell me? Why did you keep this secret from me for so long?" Tears filled my eyes. I said, "I was scared. I didn't know what would happen if you found out. I was afraid of losing you and Jack." Miles took a deep breath and tried to process his emotions. He looked at Jack, who was still in the hospital bed. He felt love and protectiveness toward him. Miles realized that his love for Jack wasn't based on biology, but on the bond they had formed over the years. Miles looked at me and said, "I need some time to think. I need to figure out what this means for us and for our family." I nodded, understanding that Miles needed space. I knew that I had hurt him deeply, and it would take time for him to forgive me. As Miles sat in the hospital room, holding Jack's hand and looking at his son's face, he realized that he loved him more than anything. He didn't care about biology. He cared about the boy he had raised and loved for years. "What do we do now?" I asked Miles when he finally talked to me again. Miles said, "We'll face this together. We'll figure out what's best for Jack and for our family. But I need you to promise me one thing." I said, "What's that?" Miles said, "I need you to promise me that you will be honest with me from now on. No more secrets, no more lies. Can you do that for me?" I nodded. Tears filled my eyes. I said, "I promise, Miles. I'll do whatever it takes to make things right." Our relationship was put to test. We'll have to work through this challenging time, but we'll face it together as a family. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.